Hi, this is Omer. You can reach me at omergrill@gmail.com. I check it about once a week. I really desire feedback. I would love to be wrong on this. Now, is the Greater Exodus a cult? Yes and no. The leaders, I think, are sincere. They're honest. They're trying to teach their best, even though this is a 15-year-old revelation. I'm not. Um, there's no. Yeah, I think you're okay. However, the followers act like they're in a cult. In fact, I'm convinced you believe in the Greater Exodus. It's not a disfellowship issue, not like adultery would be. 1 Corinthians 5 tells us, uh, in verse 9, I wrote you in my letter not to associate with immoral people. Verse 12, for what have I to do with judging outsiders? Do you not judge those that are within the congregation? Yes. But those who are outside, God judges. Remove the wicked man from among yourselves. So this isn't a wicked man issue like adultery or immorality, or we could go on the list of what to say. So it's not a disfellowshipping issue. However, the followers of this have a cult mindset, in my opinion. I love you guys. I love you. But you treat your leaders like they are biblical prophets or Levitical priests. You treat them with as great a respect as the RCC treats the Pope, the Roman Catholic Church, or that any church treats their pastor with higher regards from that. In fact, many of you that I know have stopped studying your word because you can sit at the mountain of the feet of Moses-like men, who know the Torah far better than you do, or that's what you think, and you accept blindly what is said. Right now, several leaders are discouraged in the Messianic movement because the church used to kill their dead or kill their wounded, but the Messianics really torture their wounded. So when one person leaves this belief of the Greater Exodus, he doesn't disfellowship you, but you often disfellowship them. 1 Corinthians 11:31 says, if you would judge yourselves, you shouldn't be judged. It's time for us to judge our hearts and to read the Word. If you want to know the soft underbelly of the Messianic movement, read Hebrews. You have to come to grips with all those things because Hebrews seems to do away with the feasts. And I'm not gonna go there. My testimony is Revelation 12:17, and it's important enough for you to know. Hang on to this. He said, so the dragon was enraged with the woman and went off to make war with the rest of her children. With the rest of her children. He was in, the war was in Samaria. Probably those that in Matthew 24 were told to go to the wilderness. The water was swallowed up. And these children who are in the rest of the world keep the commandments of God, are Torah pursuant, because you can't be Torah observant without the temple. We are the temple today. We can't go to Jerusalem in the feasts. When you were, our biblical instructions were, if you were out of town, if you're out of the country, you don't keep it till you get back. How can we in the nations do that? Are we doing what Balaam did and mixing just like Easter and Christmas? Those are questions for you to answer. But do know that we are, even if we call ourselves Messianic or Messianic Jew, we should be who keep the commandments of Yah, who are pursuant, and hold the testimony of Yeshua. He is our salvation. There is none other. He's our Passover lamb, and he is our Yom Kippur sacrifice, and we are to give sacrifices of praise and offering. And in this, just you've got to answer questions like uh, Revelation 12:17. He went to war, but if you're in a greater Exodus camp, he can't war against you. 1 Corinthians 10 is about holiness. And remember, Corey ten Boom's statement, how dare you have a philosophy or a doctrine that takes you out of the world when the world needs you the most. In fact, it seems to be a little bit like John 17:15 when he prays, Father, keep them. I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but you keep them from the evil one. One of the things you need to do is go to Wikipedia, wikipedia.org/wiki/cult. Look up cults. Maybe the leaders don't have a cult mentality, but I challenge you that you may. When Benjamin Zablocki, a Rutgers professor, says, when you buy into something that seems to explain everything, you can soon be coaxed into doing almost anything. Check yourself if you have fear, stress, and anxiety about the future, and are you believing something that puts everything in a box? You're preparing for a certain event that if you don't have this greater exodus, this walk away, you used to have the fly away, and oh man, it made the tribulation no big deal. Now you got the walk away, and it's making the tribulation no big deal. So, my advice, get on your knees, open your ears, listen to the Lord. My sheep know my voice, and I love them, and they follow me. I know them, and they follow me. Just trust, because once you take this greater excess away, you're going to have to sit down and get together with the Lord. What's going to go on? Do I think there's going to be trauma in the future? Yes. I think America is going to be judged. I think I'm waiting for that angel to come that tells me not to take the mark, because there are going to be instructions with that. I believe that. I can't prove it, but they're coming, and it's in Revelation 14, and by that time the 144 will be here, and we'll know what to do. If we're to go in the greater Exodus, fine, but if you leave on that Passover, this sucker's not biblical, you're in trouble. You may be eaten up and taken places you don't want to be, because we've already had drones fly over some of the past Sukkots I've been at, so we are on the radar. Maybe it's home groups and small gatherings that God will show up and supply. So, somebody's got to prove this to me and debunk to me Matthew 24, where it tells us not to go out to the wilderness. Samaria goes out, but not the rest of the world, and explain to me the different questions I've had on these different tapes. And I am open. I would love to be wrong, because a greater exodus just made my life so easy. Now I have to trust God. Now I have to go to Him. Yes, I have food and a few weapons and ammunition and shelter and different things like that, but not for what you think, not for the greater exodus, for trauma like Ezekiel 14:13 on America. I call it FUSA, not your end, not my end, but the end of the United States is the former USA, FUSA, not the end. Lord bless you guys. Love you. And I've done this for you, not for me. Thank you.